Welcome to Facts You Never Knew. This is not a channel about champions who dominated from the start. It is not about easy victories or perfect careers. This is a channel about moments when defeat was inevitable, when logic said it was over, when the world stopped believing and someone refused. Here, we explore the rarest force in sport, the unbreakable human spirit. Today's documentary is about comebacks that didn't just change games. They changed history. The scoreboard doesn't care about effort. The clock doesn't care about belief. The body doesn't care about dreams. When you're losing badly, sport becomes cruel. Muscles burn, lungs scream, the mind starts negotiating surrender. This is the moment where most careers quietly die, but history does not remember most. It remembers the few who reached this edge and stepped forward anyway. This is not about skill. This is about refusal. Chapter 1: The psychology of being finished. Every legendary comeback begins the same way. With certainty, not possibility, not doubt. Certainty of defeat. In psychology, this is called learned helplessness, the moment when the mind accepts failure before the body collapses. Crowds feel it, opponents sense it, even teammates absorb it. And once belief is gone, performance follows, unless something interrupts the pattern. Chapter 2: Istanbul, 2005. The night football broke reality. May 25, 2005. UEFA Champions League Final. AC Milan vs Liverpool. By halftime, it's 3-0. Milan isn't just winning, they are humiliating Liverpool. Paolo Maldini scores in the first minute. Hernan Crespo scores twice. Liverpool looks low, outmatched, broken. Fans leave the stadium. Commentators stop analyzing tactics. They start narrating a coronation. Inside the Liverpool locker room, there is no miracle speech. No whiteboard genius. No motivational screaming. Just silence. Then Captain Steven Gerrard speaks, not about tactics. Not about trophies, about pride. 6 minutes into the second half, Gerrard scores. Not a great goal, a human goal. Then Zmicer scores. Then Alonso scores 6 minutes. AC Milan doesn't lose physically, they lose psychologically. Penalties decide the match. Liverpool win. Football history fractures. This match becomes proof of something terrifying. When belief shifts, reality follows. Chapter 3: When momentum turns into a weapon. Comebacks are not explosions, they are infections. One moment spreads doubt, doubt spreads hesitation. Hesitation creates mistakes. In Super Bowl 51, the Atlanta Falcons lead the New England Patriots 28-3, third quarter. Largest lead in Super Bowl history. Atlanta players begin protecting the lead. Protecting is not winning. Tom Brady doesn't panic. He shortens the game, controls tempo, removes chaos. Each completed pass steals belief. The Falcons don't collapse suddenly. They dissolve slowly over time. Patriots win. The most famous comeback in NFL history is not about athleticism, it's about psychological endurance. So far, we've seen belief shift, but the greatest comebacks go deeper. They happen when the body is failing. When pain dominates, when survival replaces ambition. This is where sport stops being entertainment and becomes truth. Chapter 4: Playing when the body says stop. At the 1996 Olympic Games, gymnast Carrie Strug lands badly. Her ankle collapses. The team needs one more vault to win gold. She cannot run properly. She cannot land safely, but she runs anyway. She lands, she collapses, gold medal secured. That moment is replayed for decades, not because it was perfect, but because it was human. The body failed, the spirit did not. Chapter 5: Basketball's Impossible Mountain. 2016 NBA Finals. Golden State Warriors vs Cleveland Cavaliers. Warriors lead 3-1. No team has ever come back from this deficit in the finals. Golden State is confident, relaxed, comfortable. LeBron James is not. Back-to-back 41-point games. Complete domination. Game 7, tie game, final minutes. Andre Iguodala fast break. LeBron James chase down block. A moment that becomes mythology. Cleveland wins. A championship for a city starved for hope. This comeback doesn't just rewrite sports history, it rewrites identity. Chapter 6, Comebacks in the Loneliest Arena, Boxing in Boxing. There is no bench, no timeout, no teammate to save you. In 1974, Muhammad Ali faces George Foreman. Foreman is destruction. Ali absorbs punishment round after round. Observers think Ali is being dismantled, but Ali is not losing. He is waiting rope-a-dope. Foreman exhausts himself punching a ghost. Round 8, Ali strikes, knockout, one of the greatest strategic comebacks in human competition. Chapter 7 MMA, 1 second from oblivion in MMA. Comebacks are brutal. There is no time, no mercy. In UFC 189, Conor McGregor is being dominated by Chad Mendes, takedowns, ground control, exhaustion, McGregor is losing. But fatigue equalizes power, one opening, one left hand, fight over. In MMA, comebacks are not gradual, they are instantaneous. Chapter 8 When Time Itself is the enemy 1999 Champions League final. Bayern Munich leads Manchester United 1-0, injury time. Seconds remain, 2 goals, 90 seconds. The most improbable reversal in football history. Probability collapses, belief wins. Chapter 9. Why comebacks stay with us? We remember these moments because they are not about sport. They are about being behind in life. Being doubted, being exhausted, being counted out. Comebacks teach one brutal truth. The situation is not final, acceptance is. Talent gives you opportunity, discipline gives you consistency, but resilience gives you immortality. Comebacks are remembered because they show us who we are when comfort is gone, when safety is gone, when excuses are gone. Chapter 10, Comebacks in Combat Sports. In team sports, you can disappear. In combat sports, you cannot. There is no bench, no substitution. No teammate to absorb the moment for you when you are losing in the cage or the ring. The truth is immediate and violent. Pain is not theoretical, fear is not abstract. Exhaustion is visible to everyone watching. This is where comebacks become something darker and more meaningful. Because here, quitting is not symbolic, it is physical. Chapter 1 Muhammad Ali. Coming back from oblivion, Muhammad Ali's greatest comeback was not in a single fight. It was his entire career. In 1967, at the height of his powers, Ali refuses military service. He is stripped of his heavyweight title, his boxing license. 3.5 years of his prime, the world turns on him. He is called a coward, a traitor, a disgrace. When Ali returns, he is slower, heavier, older. Critics say the magic is gone. Then comes George Foreman. Foreman is destruction incarnate. Young, undefeated, feared in Zaire. Ali absorbs punishment that would break most men. But Ali understands something Foreman does not. Power fades. Ego burns fuel faster than muscle. Round after round, Ali survives. Round 8, Ali explodes. Foreman collapses. Ali becomes champion again, not because he was stronger, because he was unbreakable. Chapter 12, The Night a Nation Stood Still. Buster Douglas, Tokyo, 1990. Mike Tyson is invincible. He is feared, not respected, undefeated, untouchable. Buster Douglas is a 42-1 underdog. Days before the fight, Douglas's mother dies. He considers withdrawing. Instead, he fights. Tyson knocks Douglas down in the 8th round. Everyone expects the end. Douglas stands up, clear-eyed, focused, calm. In the 10th round, Douglas knocks Tyson out. One of the greatest upsets in sports history. This was not skill versus skill. This was spirit versus inevitability. Chapter 13 MMA. Comebacks measured in heartbeats in mixed martial arts. There is no narrative arc. There is only now. Consider Frankie Edgar versus Gray Maynard. UFC 125. Edgar is knocked down multiple times in the first round. He is nearly finished. Referee watches closely. Edgar survives. Not by domination, by refusal. 5 rounds later, Edgar is still standing, the fight is ruled a draw, and Edgar's reputation becomes immortal. Sometimes the comeback is not winning, sometimes it is survival. Chapter 1 for when the body shuts down in 2013, Anderson Silva breaks his leg against Chris Weidman. A catastrophic injury for many fighters, this is the end. Silva is older, slower, recovering from trauma. He returns anyway, he never becomes champion again. But the comeback is not about belts, it is about facing fear again. Walking into the cage knowing the body may betray you, that is a different kind of courage. So far, we've seen comebacks against opponents. But the most brutal comebacks are not physical, they are internal, against doubt, against depression, against the loss of identity. This is where sport becomes survival psychology. Chapter 15, Comebacks from Career Death in 2008, Michael Phelps wins 8 Olympic gold medals, perfection. But after the applause fades, something breaks, depression, loss of purpose, self-destruction. Phelps later admits he contemplated suicide. This is a comeback that never appears on a highlight reel. In 2016, he returns to the Olympics. Not chasing perfection, chasing meaning, 5 more medals. Redemption not through dominance, but through survival. Chapter 16, Tennis and the Art of Staying Alive in 2012, Rafael Nadal leaves tennis. Chronic knee injuries, burnout, doubt. Many believe his career is over. He returns in 2013, wins 10 titles, including 2 Grand Slams. Years later, in 2022, at age 35, Nadal wins the Australian Open after being down 2 sets to love in the final. His body failing, his movement compromised, but his will untouched. That match becomes a masterclass in endurance. Chapter 17, when failure becomes identity. Some athletes are defined by collapse until they are not. In 2017, Boston Red Sox trail the New York Yankees, down 3-0 in the ALCS. No team had ever come back from that deficit in MLB playoff history. Boston wins for straight games, history bends. What was once shame becomes legacy. Chapter 18, The Science of Comebacks. Neuroscience reveals something extraordinary. Under extreme stress, the brain can switch modes. The prefrontal cortex, the seat of doubt, quietly steps back. Instinct takes over, time slows, focus sharpens, pain dulls. This is why some athletes perform best when everything is falling apart. They are not thinking, they are surviving. Chapter 19, Why most people never come back. Because comebacks require something rare: acceptance without surrender. To acknowledge reality without letting it define the outcome. Most people break not because they lack strength, but because they accept the story too early. Comebacks are not miracles. They are decisions made in silence, decisions to stand up one more time, to breathe through pain, to refuse the final version of the story. They are proof that limits are often negotiated internally. Chapter 20, The longest comebacks are invisible. Some comebacks don't happen in a night. They don't happen in a round. They don't happen on a scoreboard. They take years. They happen when the cameras are gone, when the crowd is silent, when no one is watching. These are the hardest comebacks of all, because there is no applause to fuel them. Chapter 21, Career-ending injuries and the decision to return. In 2010, Alex Smith, NFL quarterback, suffers one of the most horrific injuries in sports history. His leg is shattered, infection nearly kills him. Doctors consider amputation. Most athletes would walk away. Smith doesn't. 17 surgeries. Months unable to walk, years of rehabilitation. In 2020, he steps back onto an NFL field. He doesn't dominate, he doesn't win championships, but every snap becomes symbolic. This is no longer football. This is defiance. Chapter 22, When the comeback fails. But the spirit doesn't. Not every comeback ends in victory. And this is the truth most documentaries avoid. Tiger Woods, once the most dominant golfer in history, destroys his body and his personal life. Multiple back surgeries, public collapse, career obituary written. In 2019, against all expectations, Tiger wins the Masters. But even after that miracle, his body continues to fail. And yet, he returns again and again. Not chasing dominance, chasing identity. Because for some athletes, stopping feels like disappearing. Chapter 3, the dangerous side of never quitting. The unbreakable spirit has a shadow, the inability to let go. In combat sports, many fighters stay too long. The body absorbs damage, the brain pays the price. Comebacks are heroic, but they are also dangerous. True resilience is not just returning. It is knowing why you return and when not to. Chapter 4, when retirement becomes the final comeback for many athletes. The hardest transition is not defeat. It is silence, no schedule, no adrenaline, no identity. Former champions wake up ordinary. Some fall into addiction, some into depression, some into financial ruin. The final comeback is learning how to live without battle. Very few succeed. Those who do redefine strength one last time. Chapter 5, the comebacks we never see. For every famous comeback, there are thousands unknown. Athletes who never returned to the big stage, never won again, never got the ending they wanted, but they kept going anyway. They rebuilt families, found purpose, mentored others. They didn't win history, they won life. Chapter 26, the deepest truth about the unbreakable spirit. Resilience is not aggression. It is patience. It is the ability to sit in pain without becoming it. To accept reality without surrendering to it. To fail and still choose meaning. The greatest comebacks are not against opponents. They are against despair. Records will fall. Titles will be forgotten. Highlights will fade, but the stories of those who refused to break will live forever. Because in the end, sport is not about winning. It is about discovering who you are when everything that supported you is gone. The unbreakable spirit is not loud. It is quiet, persistent, relentless, and it exists wherever a human being chooses to stand up one more time. This is Facts You Never Knew, where we don't chase victories, we chase truth. Where failure is not the end of the story. Where resilience is the real legacy. If this clip moved you, subscribe, because history doesn't belong to the strongest. It belongs to those who refuse to disappear.